So here we go. So I'm going to start with just sort of getting us warmed up a little bit in terms of singing with the Day of Resurrection. And I apologize that I realized belatedly that that scan came out very crooked and all of that. We will make some better ones, copies for the session on Sunday. I just have to find the right page in my hymnal here. So I'm hoping that if we are in fact able to do the parking lot session next week, a week from Sunday, that we'll be able to record this and actually have a new hymn at the end of the Easter service, a newly recorded hymn, and not just the clips. We want to have the clips to have the brass and all that kind of stuff, but I thought it would just be great to have something new, contemporary from us. I am going to see if Robert John will play trumpet on this as well. And Marilyn, of course, will be recording the organ part and some fancy stuff going on with that. So anyway, let's just.
Mark,
so the first thing is, you can hear me, I'm assuming.
Mark?
Yes?
What's the page in the hymnal?
In the hymnal, it's number 216.
Okay.
If you happen to have a hymnal. Can you hear the keyboard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me know if it's too loud, too soft, that kind of stuff as we go along. So the first verse of this we will sing in unison. And I apologize, I don't have a good setup here that I can do a lot of this. I'm sort of perching a hymnal on the edge of the keyboard, and we'll see if it stays there and all this kind of stuff. This is incredibly awkward.
Matt, might want to mute yourself.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, it's really, is that super loud on your end? It's really, I gotta turn it down on mine because how do we do that? It's like distorting on my end. Okay. It's a tune that I'm assuming probably many of you know. So I'm just gonna play it through from the beginning here. If you want to just sing along in unison, this is the key that we're in. So here we go, and 3. A day of resurrection, earth tearing abroad, the Passover of gladness, the Passover of God, from death to life eternal, from sin's dominion free, Christ has crossed us o'er with hymns of victory. Yeah, it's just one of the great Easter hymns. We don't get to sing it every year because there's a lot of great Easter hymns. But it's one of my favorites. I just love this tune. With all of these, as we're going through, the thing to really be aware of when we do the session next week is to really make sure that you're singing with good legato line through everything. One of the things that I have noticed, especially the further that we have gotten into this, is the more we are tending to sort of chunk things along with our breath and with the musical line in general, which is understandable given how out of shape we all are in terms of singing. But it is something to really be aware of as you're practicing, to really think about singing good legato lines, even just like take out the words entirely and just sing it on ah, ah, and so forth. If you're really having problems with your breath, you can do it if you can do a lip trill. This is something, of course, that spreads lots and lots of germs. But I'm assuming you're home in your own quarantine bubble, you can do this. But it's a great way to sort of just make your breath work. It will sort of immediately show where you're sort of pulling off of the air and where it's sort of stopping on you. So that's another great way to do it. Let's just sing it through on ah, shall we? And 3. And then go back and put the consonants in, but make sure you're still maintaining that really legato line throughout. So even where we interrupt the line with the consonants and with the commas, the articulation, our still overall feel has to be this forward motion with the legato musical line. So I'm going to harp on that a lot probably at the session next week. Let me go
Mark,
through the. Yes.
you want us lift after earth?
Yes, a little one. Yeah, basically, it's if you put the th on, that's probably going to give you about as much as you're going to get there. Earth, ta, earth, ta, earth, ta. You're going to get as much as you're going to get probably right there. All right, so let me do the. I'm mindful of the time here. The second verse we will sing in parts. So here's the bass part. Our hearts be pure from evil, that we may see light. Our Christ in grace eternal, of resurrection light, and listening to his essence, may hear so calm and plain his own all hail and healing is the victor's strain. Let me do the third line again since I screwed it up. And listening to his accents, may hear so calm and plain his own all hail and healing is the victor's strain. So that is a verse, in particular for the bass part, because you're just chunking along on the same note, that it's going to be very easy to just have a very punchy da, and not sing musically. So make sure you're really thinking about the words that you're singing and putting the text accents in the right places, that along with that underlying legato line will keep you from just sort of chunking along and just sort of making sound there. The tenor part. Our hearts be pure from evil, that we may see aright. Our Christ in grace eternal, of resurrection light, and listening to his accents, may hear so calm and plain his own all hail and healing, may raise the victor's strain. Sorry, I have to admit a couple of people here. Yeah, so that's the tenor part. So again, I'm mindful of the time here. Let me just go have the tenors and the basses sing together. Here we go, and hearts be pure from evil, that okay. The third verse will be in unison with a soprano descant. So you can just practice that third verse again with a nice legato line, and get all of those sort of words in your mouth. Through all of this weekend, next week, I would urge you to really think about what it is that you're singing, really looking at the text, maybe just separate from the music and just reading through the text, and really get a sense of what it is that you're singing and singing about at any given moment in time. All right, I'm going to move on from that and go into the anthem. So now the green blade riseth. So we're going to attempt something that we have never done, which is for us to actually sing a piece accompanied by the handbells. Marilyn had this very nice recording that they had done for a concert a few years back. It's really tight. The tempo is super steady through it, which is kind of amazing given the tempo and that it's on handbells. It's really quite a good recording. So we will sing along with that. Kevin McChesney, who arranged this, he writes a ton of music for bells. He's like, there's like 5 people basically that arrange music for bells. 90% of the music for bells, and he's one of them. But he's written out this little choral part to go with this. I will make no claim for it being a spectacular piece of music, but it is. It should be certainly effective, and it's a good tune. It's a very and is an arrangement, the kind of thing that we can do in our current situation. So if you'll turn right to page 4. So I sent out the bell part to you that you'll be able, that has sort of a synthesized vocal parts with it, so you can practice along with that and get used to singing it with the bells at that tempo. Our purpose here right now is just sort of go through it a little bit slower and present each of these parts to you, and then you can refer back to this recording as well while you're learning it. The tune is one you know. We are singing the words, the top set of words, which are the Easter ones. So looking at the top of page 4, a little bit under tempo, goes like this. A green blade riseth from the buried grain, waited in the dark earth many days has lain. Love lives again, that with the dead has been. Love has come again, like wheat that springeth green. So a couple of things to keep track of there. One is we do need to sing bean so that it rhymes with green. And we will do the English pronunciation, okay? The word green needs to be held out for 4 full beats, with the N coming on the downbeat of the following measure. There is dynamic changes through all of that, which unfortunately I cannot replicate. This keyboard that I'm playing on is not touch sensitive. So it starts off mezzo piano. The next line is a mezzo forte, and then it's forte at the bottom of the page at Love Lives Again, which we'll want to have very strong right there. Let me just do that again through that section. You can sing along. And now the green blade riseth from the buried grain, waited in the dark earth many days has lain. Love lives again, that with the dead has been. Love is come again, like wheat that springeth green. Okay. Then in the second verse, the women start. And the men on the top of page 6 sing this next line. Let me do the basses first. It goes like this. Thinking that he never would awake again, laid in the earth like grain that sleeps unseen. Love is come again, like wheat that springeth green. So it sort of goes in and out of the melody for the bass part. So you just have to be aware you can't sort of sing on autopilot and just keep singing the melody, because it keeps switching back and forth. So let me do that one more time, basses, and see if you can sing along with that. Thinking that he never would awake again,